Good evening, Pokemon Draft Premier League fans. It's Dan here, and we are here with our first semi-final match between Otto and Tay. We see that Tay has brought the Spectrier, Kangaskhan, Toxicroak, Tangela, Dragonite, and Togedemaru, while Otto has brought the Bisharp, Primarina, Mamoswine, Tornadus, Meowstic, and Decidueye. Looking at the team matchup here, the Dragonite looks very solid for Tay into a lot of what Otto brought, but I assume that Mamoswine is here specifically for it. And the Mamoswine also does a very nice job of checking the Toxicroak. I imagine the Mamoswine is going to have that priority Ice Shard on it as well. And the Bisharp, for me, is the interesting pick. It does do a decent job of checking the Spectrier, but it still takes a chunk from it. And with that Tangela out there to protect the Spectrier, it might not even be the strongest lead into it. I believe that Tangela is going to have a field day in this matchup, looking at it as there is no safety goggles, and Decidueye is the only thing that can effectively fight it. But we do see Otto going for the Bisharp, Tornadus, Mamoswine, and Primarina lead. And he's going to be locking it in any second now, and we are going to get underway with semifinal number 1. We do see the Tornadus has the Life Orb, so I imagine this is going to be a max variety Tornadus. Did Tay time out, or did he get that submission in? Let's see if he leads with Spectrier and Kangaskhan here. Let's get this volume down just a little bit. That is louder than I thought it would be. Alright. And we do see that Spectrier and Kangaskhan lead. He might have timed out here. Let's see if he's able to fight against this Bisharp and Tornadus, because this does not look like the matchup that you want for it. A Protect on the Bisharp makes a lot of sense here in the face of a potential Kangaskhan attack, and Spectrier going into the Tornadus also makes a lot of sense, but that would activate the Defiant on the Bisharp here. He could also go for a Sucker Punch or an Assurance into the Spectrier. Assurance into Kangaskhan with the double up could also work if this is a max airstream, and it will be the max airstream going for the double up. This Spectrier is going to have a tough time justifying using a max ghost or a max strike here to slow this Tornadus next to this Bisharp, because the Bisharp will get its Defiant boost, which is going to be a problem. But we don't see the max airstream going into the Kangaskhan. I believe he just selected a max guard instead, or maybe that was a protect. We do see the turn 1 max coming on out. And either of these reasonably could max out of Tay, but we do see the Kangaskhan, not the Spectrier. Okay, so I imagine this is going to be a max Knuckle into the Bisharp, because I believe Kangaskhan generally carries Brick Break as its fighting type move. And then so we get a Protect out of the Tornadus, and without this being a double up, I don't see this Kangaskhan taking all that much, but it is just a double Protect out of Otto, but this Kangaskhan can get to +1 here, and the Will-O-Wisp into the Bisharp doesn't quite get there, and a Max Quake comes on out though. This will be great. Get that boosted special defense, because we did see that that is a special Tornadus Therian. The Bisharp takes a decent chunk of damage as well, and the special defense is raised. That is going to be a very, very specially bulky Spectrier. I know people generally assume a Spectrier is quite frail, and it might be frail physically, but on the special side, it already has a decent amount of bulk, and this is going to make it even harder to kill. We're going to see that double up into the Kangaskhan here. We are going to see that double up into the Kangaskhan, it looks like, which will allow for Assurance to deal double damage, especially if this Bisharp has its stats dropped somehow. This could actually kill. But without the stat drop, I don't actually think this will kill a maxed Kangaskhan here. No, we're not going to see the double up. It looks like we're going to see a switch. He's being a bit indecisive, and he is going to lock in with the Airstream, potentially. It's too late to switch now. I don't know if he could input the buttons fast enough. So he will lock into the Airstream on that Kangaskhan. At +1 special defense, this will not be doing that much unless we do see a crit come on out for Otto. I think this game 1 looks like it's in pretty decent position for Tay. But we do see the big Tornadus here. And with 330 HP, I'm not sure how much HP investment that is on the Tornadus. But the Will-O-Wisp will connect this time. This Bishop is not going to be doing too much at this point. It hasn't been Defiant activated, but it does have the Lumberry, as we saw in Team Preview, which is going to heal the burn. And then this double up is going to do a good chunk of damage. That is even less damage than I thought it would be, though, out of that max Airstream with a Life Orb. Even with that +1 special defense boost, that is an impressive amount of bulk on that Kangaskhan. The Assurance comes on out, and it does take it down under half, but a max strike is going to significantly slow this Tornadus and the Bisharp, but the Bisharp will be moving to +2 attack, which will nullify this next Will-O-Wisp if it comes on out again. The Airstream did counteract that speed drop as well, so although the Tornadus will not have that Airstream advantage over the Spectrier, it will maintain the speed advantage over the Kangaskhan, and with another Airstream plus Bisharp attack, this could be an issue. If I'm in Otto's position, I actually consider Airstreaming the Kangaskhan and using Bisharp to attack into the Spectrier slot. Although, if he does get burned here, it will still take out this Kangaskhan, but a max guard just seems so easy to call here. He might be splitting the baby with this Protect and then an Airstream into the Spectrier slot. I can understand and respect that play, because unless Max Strike comes out again, then the Tornadus will have the speed advantage, and will be able to give the Bisharp the speed advantage over the Spectrier as well to prevent the burn from coming out. But we do just see a Shadow Ball come into the Tornadus, and this is going to be a double up on the Tornadus, which is going to take it down. That's another great call from Tay this season, and we do see that it is Life Orb Spectrier as well. The Airstream's going to come on out into the Spectrier. It is not going to be enough with that +1 special defense. Now this Tornadus has to go for max, the King has to go for Max Strike, and it does. Bisharp will be slow. Tornadus goes down. And that Bisharp's Protect was called beautifully from Tay. I think that puts him in the driver's position for this seat, because although this Bisharp is at +2, it will not have the speed advantage over the Spectre, and I believe without the one Airstream intermittent speed boost, it won't even have the speed advantage over this Kangaskhan, and I imagine it just goes down to a fighting type move here. Pre-Marina to threaten a double KO with Hyper Voice makes a lot of sense, except this one doesn't have Hyper Voice. It has Torrent, and it looks like a max Pre-Marina set. There is no spread move here, and that is going to be very tough for Otto. A spread move Pre-Marina is his best option here to potentially threaten a double KO, because without it, he's only going to be able to pick up one before this Bisharp goes down, and I don't think that's going to be what he wants. But he does have Sucker Punch, and can Sucker Punch KO this Kangaskhan? I think it can at +4. And then a Scald into the Spectre. This could be a huge play unless Tay is playing around the Sucker Punch here. We could get a burned Bisharp here, but it will still be at +4. Does Tay elect to play around Sucker Punch? A Protect and a Will-O-Wisp into that slot, and then getting in something makes sense. But no, the Sucker Punch comes on out, and it should take out the Kangaskhan from that range. Kangaskhan goes down. Spectre is going to get off a Will-O-Wisp into the Bisharp. This time it does not have that Lumberry to save him, but it is already at +4. The damage may already be done because the Spectre is going to be going down as well, and Mamoswine is still safely in the back. Otto has really turned this around with the threat of the Pre-Marina, even though it does not have that dual target attack. Bisharp is hurt by its burn, but we'll see what two Tay has in the back to combat this rather threatening position from Otto here. We do see the Toxicroak come on out, along with the Tangela. Toxicroak should completely destroy this Bisharp here, and also threatens the Pre-Marina with physical poison type moves. A Tangela redirection, because there is no spread move, is going to be potentially devastating. I think you need to let one of your Pokemon go down here and bring out the Mamoswine. And I actually think that doubling up into the Tangela makes the most sense here, or figuring out some way to maximize damage on that Tangela. Because Mamoswine is going to struggle with the Tangela. I assume the Mamoswine is going to have Earthquake, though. You might also want to try to break a Sash on a Toxicroak, so I can understand that as well. We do see the Protect coming out, and it's just the clean Brick Break. He read the Protect correctly. Sleep Powder into the Protect, and we are really looking like Depending on this Mamoswine's speed and the ability to take out the Tangela, I still think Auto... Oh, there is no Earthquake. He's going for high horsepower, superpower, Icicle Crash, and Protect. So he's going to have to double up into this Tangela. If the Tangela survives this double up, I think he is going to be in a great position, because you can't go for high horsepower into the Toxicroak as much as you want to here. But he is going to try and break Sash on the Toxicroak. Tay's play here is probably to always Rage Powder. Yes, and then he will, I imagine, attempt to take out the... Oh, he went for the Primarina but missed the attack. I think I might have gone for the Mamoswine there. But I can understand both plays. The Icicle Crash comes out but does not connect, but that should put it in range with the crit. A huge crit. I don't know if that mattered though, because Tangela's special defense is not great, and that Moonblast was connecting with it because of the Rage Powder. Auto is in position to take this game now. If that Gunk Shot had connected and KO'd, I would have said that it looked very promising for Tay, because he would have had one more turn of Tangela redirecting the Mamoswine's attack. However, here, a high horsepower will be a huge play, but he's just going to go for a double Protect. I don't fully understand this play. If you're going to try, I guess, stalling out the Toxicroak's Protect, but I do not fully understand this play. Primarina's Protect failed because it was the last Pokemon to go in a turn when all Pokemon were protecting, so Primarina actually has access to Protect again. High horsepower into the Toxicroak makes sense. And then I think the Primarina needs to click Moonblast, because we imagine that this is Dry Skin Toxicroak. I don't believe Tay will have an out here unless this crits. It does not. The Mamoswine does reveal that it is a berry, though, which is great information for Game 2, but it looks like Auto is going to be taking Game 1 with a high horsepower connection, and high horsepower does connect. Moonblast should take it out if it is Sash, and it does reveal to be Sash as well. So this is going to be Game 1 of our first semifinal. Is going to go to Auto, taking out Tay with a very clean turn with that Primarina switch in. What adjustments will Tay be making? We will see when we catch you guys for game number 2. And we are back for game number 2 between Tay and Auto to see who will be our first finalist in the PDPL. Auto had a very solid game there despite the early game pressure that Tay was putting on with the Max Quake and the correct Protect calls. Will he be able to have the same level of success, and will he be changing up his lead? And what adjustments will Tay be making? Let's see. I think the Lumberry was the biggest surprise factor in Auto's behalf that game, which let the Bisharp get up to +4 without being burned and wasted multiple turns from that Spectrier. But we are just going to see a pivot into a Meowstic lead for Auto, it appears, unless he changes his mind again. We're going to see the Meowstic Mamoswine, which might mean a Max Mamoswine early, or it could mean a late game Max. No, not the Mamoswine. Not the Meowstic either. Ignore everything I just said. It's going to be the Tornadus Bisharp once again. And with Toxicroak and Tangela in the back, I do believe that Tay timed out that previous game, which is unfortunate. So, let's see what Tay's actual plan is then, because I believe that was a timeout team for him last time. But the Meowstic will be coming this time in the back. Will we see another timeout? No, he locks in, and Tay is already locked in as well. Let's go ahead and dive on into game number 2 between Auto and Tay for our first slot in the finals. Out comes Togedemaru and Spectrier, so we do have a substantial pivot here. Togedemaru is going to be able to threaten the Tornadus, especially next to that Spectrier, which could go for a attack into the Tornadus, but we are just going to see a Protect on the Tornadus, which makes a lot of sense. I think Fake Out into the Bisharp actually makes a lot of sense if I'm Tay, because there's no world where this Bisharp is maxing in my mind. Auto could just click max right here and just really be messing with me on the commentary, but no, he's just going for the double Protect to ignore the Fake Out. What am I doing here if I'm Tay? Because I don't want to waste time Will-O-Wisping into the Bisharp because I know it has a Lumberry. And I also don't want to waste time giving Bisharp boosted attack because I know it has access to Sucker Punch. This Bisharp is proving really hard to play around with the Spectre lead, and he agrees. He's switching out the Spectrier, and we're going to a full support setup with this Tangela out. With the double protect, that was just going to be a clean switch into this Tangela, which is going to threaten to Sleep Powder this Tornadus, but I believe the Tornadus should be able to just one-shot this Tangela unless it's Focus Sash or Cova Berry, because Tangela, even with the Violite, doesn't have great special defense. But I wouldn't consider switching this Tangela out. I'd eat a Zing Zap and Airstream the Tangela. But he's going for the Icy Wind instead. I don't think I agree with that play because I don't think this kills Tangela. Assurance isn't going to do as much damage as a Max Airstream will. I think you eat the Max Airstream on the Tornadus. Oh, and he even goes for the Protect. This is just a free Zing Zap, and without the Max Bulk, this Tornadus could also just go down. We do see that it's faster. I imagine that that is Scarf then, and that's going to take down the Tornadus with the Scarf Togedemaru Zing Zap. Without the Max Airstream there to give the speed advantage onto this Bisharp and the Tornadus in the future, this is looking pretty impressive, but we do know that it's Scarf now, so this Mamoswine coming out is going to be threatening it in a huge way. But a double up might not even kill this Tangela here. This Zing Zap would go into Bisharp if it doesn't switch out, but Tangela can just freely click Sleep Powder into the Mamoswine at this point. He's considering a double switch. No, he's checking the stats. I'm not sure what Auto can do here. This looks like a very bad position for him. But he is going to max the Mamoswine and go for a max Hailstorm into the Tangela and an Assurance to hopefully take down the Tangela. I think that's his best play here, but it doesn't look great for him with this Spectrier looming in the back to max, especially if he's able to sleep this Mamoswine. And I don't know if this kills because of how physically bulky Tangela is, especially if this is a Violite. This could be spelling a very, very easy win in Game 2 for Tay, in which case we would go to a decisive Game 3 in our first quarterfinal. Mamoswine is maxing, and we do see the Zing Zap is going to come out into the Bisharp. It doesn't quite do half, so this is a good first step for Auto in coming back. But he needs this double up to KO. Oh, that'll do it. That is much more damage than I thought would come on out. Hail also gets set, so it will break Sturdy potential on this Togedemaru. Assurance should take out at this point. And it does. Alright, so Auto is back in this because the Tangela goes down before it's able to sleep the Mamoswine. And we do see that Tay is thinking about what he can bring in the back. I don't think the Spectrier can come out in this situation because the Bisharp is going to be threatening it too much. Because well, actually, after hail damage, the Zing Zap might take out the Bisharp, which would be absolutely huge here for Tay. Because if that's the case, then Tay would be able to launch a Will-O-Wisp into this Mamoswine without fear of a Sucker Punch. And I think that's actually the play. I do think that we are going to see the Spectrier here, Will-O-Wisp the Mamoswine, and Zing Zap is going to go into that Bisharp slot. I don't know if it's low enough to kill. It is very, very close based on that first damage roll from the Zing Zap. But Tay does need to go for that Zing Zap. The Mamoswine is going to go for the Max Guard, and he's going to switch the Bisharp into the Meowstic, which is going to take a substantial amount from Zing Zap, but it will have access to Thunder Wave and Safeguard. I think Bisharp would have survived and could have gotten an Assurance off into the Spectrier. The max guard on the Mamo makes a lot of sense, but I think the Assurance could have gone into the Spectrier, which may have killed it. Oh, and he switches out the Togedemaru. Toxicroak comes on in. This is looking a bit better for Otto in this position, but without that Bisharp on the field, this Spectre is going to be free to max. But here we should be seeing a Will-O-Wisp go into that max guard. We do. A Zing Zap into that Meowstic would have been a substantial amount of damage. And the Meowstic wouldn't have been able to threaten Thunder Wave because we don't know if that is Sturdy or Lightning Rod yet. This is an incredibly close game, but the Safeguard is going to come on out, which could potentially blank a Will-O-Wisp here. But if I am Tay in this position, I'm taking advantage of this opening to max this Spectrier. And I'm just putting the hammer down on this Mamoswine because you can just max Ghost and Brick Break it. The Spectrier is maxing. This Safeguard might actually be costing Otto. If he went for Psychic into the Toxicroak, that would have been one thing. But Fake Out comes on out instead of Brick Break. That makes sense. But now we've got the Max Darkness coming on out, which is going to lower the special defense of the Mamoswine, which might actually allow a Max Ghost to take it out next turn, and then we can see a Brick Break from this. And then we'll see a Brick Break from the Toxicroak. Yeah, at +1. Into a neutral Mamoswine. We do see it go down because there is no Sash. Is Tay going to be able to deal with this Bisharp? That is the question at this point. At +1, I think Spectrier takes out the Bisharp here and eats one attack from the Mamoswine. We could also see a Fake Out into the Bisharp here. A Fake Out into the Bisharp and a Max Ghost into the Mamoswine, which should take it out at this point, makes the most sense to me. Because then Mamoswine will go down. Bisharp does not get an attack off this turn. It loses a bit more HP. It is absolutely in Zing Zap. No, because this is Scarfed. I think, do you Zing Zap? You Zing Zap the Bisharp and Max Ghost the Mamoswine? Yes. You Zing Zap the Bisharp and Max Ghost the Mamoswine. He needs to protect the Bisharp here and then go for a Sucker Punch, which loses to another Zing Zap next turn. Which loses to a Will-O-Wisp plus a Zing Zap next turn out of the Spectre. I think Tay should be locking this game up. Because if he protects, eats the Zing Zap. Oh, but there is no Max Ghost. Everything protects except for the Togedemaru, which is going for that Zing Zap. It went for Iron Head instead. Okay, Iron Head might not take out this Bisharp. Sucker Punch is now a threat again. I don't know if I agree with that play. Because there's one more turn of Max Spectrier here. Iron Head doesn't take out the Bisharp. Sucker Punch comes on out. It doesn't take out the Spectrier, though. Iron Head hits the Mamoswine. Knowing that it had one more turn of Max, I miscounted Max turns. I agree more with that play, but I still think going from Max Ghost last turn into Max Guard this turn makes the most sense with Zing Zap. But it does take out the Bisharp with a Max Phantasm. Bisharp goes down. Spectrier is going to be able to kill if it... Okay, so this play was pretty safe from Tay. It wasn't the safe play I would have made because he had a second safe play, but that does make sense. And we will be moving into a Game 3, it looks like, because at -1 defense, an Iron Head off of this Togedemaru should absolutely obliterate this Mamoswine with its remaining HP. But let's just see this Togedemaru wrap this game up. If for some reason it doesn't kill, Otto will win, but this Togedemaru should be able to take it out, and the Togedemaru launches Iron Head, and it does in fact take down the Mamoswine, and we are going into a Game 3. That crit Don't think that one mattered. So let's see. We've got Tay versus Otto. Game 3 to make it to the PDPL Finals. Coming right up. Game 3 time between Tay and Otto. Let's see what adjustments Otto makes, knowing that this is Scarf Togedemaru now in the back. He is going to go for the Tornadus Bisharp again, and I do think that not maxing that Tornadus on Game 1 really hurt him, because I do think it probably survives a Scarf Zing Zap, even if that is an Adamant Togedemaru. So let's see if he is able to make the necessary adjustments for game number 3. We have not seen the Dragonite yet either. Will the Dragonite make an appearance this game? Game 1, Tay timed out and had to take a really bad lead into a Bisharp team, fought valiantly, but Otto was able to lock it up. Game 2, I believe Otto made a mistake by not maxing the Tornadus and instead opting for a late game Mamoswine max. And then Tay was able to take advantage of it, and it got a little dicey in the end game, but he was able to clean it up. Game 3, what are we going to see? We do see the Mamoswine in the back. Does not look like the Meowstic is coming this time, or the Primarina. Instead, we're going to see the Sash Decidui for the first time this set. Will we also be seeing the Dragonite for the first time? Let's find out. Otto's got a couple seconds left to lock it in. He locks it in. Does Tay lock it in time? Tay locks it in time, and we are set for game number 3. Otto versus Tay. Game number 3. Let's see what Tay chooses to lead in this situation. Tay is leading with the Tangela and the Dragonite. The Dragonite does make an appearance, as does the Tornadus Bisharp lead. This looks much more promising for Tay than the past 2 game leads against this Bisharp. We can expect a potential Sleep Powder. I would expect a Max Airstream to go into this Tangela, which should take it out, probably followed by a Assurance into the slot as well. But going for the Icy Wind here feels very risky. No, he will be going for the Max Airstream, hopefully into the Tangela with a double up with Assurance in case it's Sash. It is less optimal against a Protect from the Tangela, but it should maintain speed advantage over this Dragonite. If this is Sash and going for Sleep Powder, this is a risky play. No, he goes for the double up into the Tangela slot. And Tangela gets withdrawn. Something is eating a massive hit here, and it is the Togedemaru. I think Assurance might have taken it out, but I don't know if an Iron Head will take it out. Is this play going to be costing Otto in the long run here? Because if this Dragonite goes for a Max Airstream then into the Tornadus and the Togedemaru gets the speed boost, if it doesn't go down here, it will be threatening a massive Zing Zap. And we do see the Dragonite is going to max, and I imagine this is going to be an Airstream. And if this goes into the Tornadus, which I believe it should, I think this is going to put Tay in a very solid position to threaten to take it out with the Zing Zap, because we know it will do at least 50% to this max Tornadus. Airstream, first Airstream comes on out. It is going to do less than 50%. Yeah, more like 30, 35%. But then it will give this Bisharp the speed advantage. If this was an Assurance with doubled power, stab, and a neutral hit, I think the Togedemaru goes down here, but I don't think it goes down to an Iron Head. It might not have even gone down to Assurance there, but Assurance would have been better. Airstream is going to put this Tornadus into Togedemaru range, and we are in a rough spot for Otto out the gate here. This Tornadus either needs to switch or max guard this turn, but neither one feels great, as this Dragonite is going to get a free attack into the Bisharp, because the Togedemaru will put down the pressure into the Tornadus with the Zing Zap. An Airstream from Dragonite into Bisharp makes a lot of sense. If it has a coverage move for the Bisharp, that also makes sense, but an Airstream would allow it to get the speed advantage over this Tornadus, because this Tornadus can do nothing, cannot attack this turn. If Tay calls this Protect instead of making the safe play, though, this will be absolutely massive for him. I don't think the Sucker Punch is going to KO. The max guard makes sense. The Sucker Punch will put it in range for next turn. It does KO. Oh, no. Oh, boy. Okay, so with that KO, the speed advantage goes back in Otto's favor. He's got the Pokemon advantage as well. And the Airstream went into the Protect into the Tornadus. Why would he target the Tornadus with that? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me if he was going for the Zing-Zap play. I don't know what Tay can have in the back here. The Tangela is going to have to Rage Powder and likely go down to this double up. Does Otto go for the Iron Head and the double up again? Or is he... Don't do it, Otto. Yeah. Because this Tangela has to Rage Powder here, right? Because then Dragonite takes out Tornadus. And this double up does a significant amount of damage into the Tangela slot, but this will break multi-scale. I mean, it's just Rage Powder and then Airstream. No? That feels risky unless you are... I guess this is showing that it's multi-scale Dragonite because you're sure that Max Hailstorm doesn't take it out. Bisharp will launch an Iron Head into the Dragonite. It'll break multi-scale. But Dragonite's going to take down the Tornadus, regain the speed advantage over the Bisharp, and now have the speed advantage over everything. And Tangela will have the speed advantage over a lot of things that Otto can switch in as well. This is looking like a tricky situation on both sides. Mamoswine's going to come on in, but we know it doesn't have that Ice Shard, which I think it kind of needs in this kind of game. It's going to be able to threaten either thing here, but this Tangela is going to be able to Rage Powder again. And without the crit, I don't think this Ice... Is the Tangela in range of Icicle Crash? I can't remember if it crit last game. Oh, this is a tricky situation for both sides. I think you Iron Head the Tangela here if you're going to Iron Head. Because you can't let this Rage Powder threat stick on the field. Tay is taking his time to lock this in. This is a difficult turn for both players, and it's a Game 3 with a spot in the finals on the line. Mamoswine's Protect comes on out. We do see the Rage Powder from the Tangela. This Tangela probably doesn't die here. It does not come close. And then we see Dual Wing Bait come on out into the Bisharp. I don't get it. Maybe he was calling a switch of some kind into the Decidueye. Now we see the Icicle Crash line up. And then Iron Head into the Tangela makes sense. If Tangela is faster than this Mamoswine, he kind of needs to get the flinch on the Iron Head. Because if Tangela is faster than Mamoswine and puts it to sleep, this Dragonite's going to be in an okay position. But if that's the best thing Dragonite has to hit Bisharp, I don't know how much it matters. I assume Toxicroak is in the back here to clean up this Bisharp, but Bisharp is going to have a chance to flinch out this game, it looks like, for Otto, if he decides to take it. Rage Powder comes again. Bisharp might not kill. It does not. One more attack gets redirected. Oh, and it goes for the Earthquake, which is going to take out the Bisharp. It does not take out the Bisharp. It does not take out the Tangela either. The Icicle Crash does get redirected into that Tangela. What a clutch survival from that Tangela, because if that Icicle Crash went into that Dragonite, it would have been game over. But now we have an endgame with the Toxicroak against these two. What is the play here? Bisharp is at 4 HP. The Tangela also survived, probably at 4 HP. Icicle Crash will take out this Dragonite, but Toxicroak does have the ability to potentially take out this Mamoswine with a big hit. If he's going to call a Fighting type move, though, he could switch into the Decidueye, but that loses to a double up from this dual Wing Beat. Whew. I don't know how to play this endgame. If I am in Otto's shoes here, because you need to hit this Dragonite with an Ice type move. A Protector's probably fine. Does he get the Decidueye switch here? He does. I don't know if I agree with that because I liked the speed boost on the Bisharp there. But this also stops you from just dying to a fake out. You played as if... I think Otto had to call who the Toxicroak was attacking into. He played as if Toxicroak was attacking into both slots. And we see the Dragon Dance just come up for free on this Dragonite. This is suddenly a much scarier Dragonite to go up against. High horsepower, you need to take out the Dragonite. If this Dragonite stays alive, it's going to be game over. I think that switching to the Decidueye could have cost Otto this game. I don't know if it's the only... I don't know if the Bisharp would have been quite enough here, but this Dragonite is so fast now. We saw that it didn't really have anything. A switch out on the Mamoswine into Decidueye would have put Otto in very good position because he could Shadow Sneak and kill that Toxicroak before it got an attack off. But now the Shadow Sneak comes on out to break the sash, and the dual Wing Beat is going to be able to take out this Decidueye. And that Bisharp is at 4 HP. If this Toxicroak is faster than the Mamoswine, this is going to wrap up the game for Tay. Brick Break comes on out. Is this going to kill? It does kill. Alright, and I believe that is going to wrap it up. And I believe Tay is going to be our first finalist because this 4 HP Bisharp isn't going to be able to kill both things, and they're both going to be targeting it. Yeah, I don't really see an out here. I don't see a way that Tay could throw this beyond just targeting his own Pokemon. Even an Earthquake here from the Dragonite should be fine. No, that's still fine. Yep, Thunder Punch comes on out, and that will wrap this up. Congratulations to Tay, our first PDPL finalist. But with that being said, there was a great season from Otto, making it to top 4. But let's swing around to the second semifinal matchup and see who he will be playing. Hey guys, what's going on? It is Dan, and I am back with the second semifinal for the PDPL. We have KS Knight Rider versus Snoot, and we are watching this one from Snoot's perspective. Snoot was the #1 seed in the regular season. This is his first playoff match. KS Knight Rider was the 4 seed, and so he had to play in the quarterfinals. So this is his second match after having a very nice round with El Flamingo last time. But looking at the field, KS Knight Rider has brought Dragapult, Suicune, Magnezone, Mienshao, Mudsdale, and Uxie. Or Uxie, as I'm told it's pronounced. Snoot, on the other hand, has his Weavile, Trevenant, Blastoise, Nidoqueen, Indeedee, and Xurkitree. It looks like he's going to choose to lead the Weavile, he's going to choose to lead the Trevenant and the Indeedee, so he will be going for a Pseudo Trick Room mode with the Nidoqueen and the Weavile as well. So this looks like it'll be interesting, and I'm hoping that it lives up to the last match we just watched. I'm sorry if I'm adjusting music volume during this, but the audio volume for the game file was just not quite low enough to actually use that instead. So, I think that we're about to see the players lock in, and then we can go ahead and get this match started. Alright. So first off, we see in the Battle of the Trainer cards, we've got two pretty solid ones. A more character one from Snoot, and a more general card one, focused one from KS Knight Rider, but both very solid, no advantage off the bat here. But let's see what the actual Pokemon leagues are. We've got the Uxie and the Suicune, which will be leading up against the Trevenant and the Indeedee. So both are threatening Trick Room sets, but KS Knight Rider is also threatening a bit of a Suicune Tailwind set as well. So we've got a lot of speed control threatened, and we do see that the Indeedee is Psychic Seed as well. We do see that the Uxie is leftovers and Citrus Berry, Suicune, so we have got some bulky sets out here, so I think we're going to be getting into it. And we do see that it's Weakness Policy Trevenant, which is a very interesting choice, considering it could eat a Wormwind or a... or not a Wormwood, it could eat a Ice-type move here. I'd say that with Citrus Berry, the Suicune is not as likely to max turn 1. But we do see that he is considering switching it out. I apologize if the frame rate drops. Video file was quite large getting it loaded in here. But we might be seeing a max Trev off the bat with a max Overgrow into the Suicune and then self-Mystical Fire? No, just going for a Helping Hand off the gate. Oh, self-Mystical Fire would have been a huge call. And we do see the Trev is going to be the first thing that maxes. Its speed is so much below Suicune and Uxie, I don't think the other two are going to be maxing. So this could just be a dead Suicune unless it is Rindoberry, which on Team Preview doesn't seem like the most... Oh no, we know it's Citrus Berry because of Frisk, but I would not have expected a Rindoberry into Snoot's team. Snarl comes... Oh, that is such a dead Suicune. That is so dead. Here's the Weakness Policy. And now here's a +2 Helping Hand, max Overgrowth. Yawn's annoying, but man, Suicune's hella dead. Boop. Alright, so Suicune goes down, the Trevenant gets yawned. I don't know if he has a good way to fight against this yawn, though. The yawn might be a little bit overbearing at this point. He might have to switch out, which means he will trade 2 turns of max for dead Suicune functionally. And then Chaos will have the max advantage rest of the game. He could... I don't know, he's also trading his Weakness Policy if it does that. He could just leave it out and go for 1 more Overgrowth. If you Overgrowth in this slot, I think you have to go into the Uxie slot expecting the Ally switch. But he might be switching out the Trevenant, sacrificing the max and the Weakness Policy boost. No, he's going to let it fall asleep to get off 1 more huge attack. A Phantasm into the Uxie slot makes a lot of sense. Phantasm into the Mudsdale slot also makes a lot of sense. Here, do we see a Helping Hand? Do we see Expanding Force come on out? I kind of want to see Helping Hand because he is already... he should Helping Hand here because he's already asleep. And if there's an Ally switch and a max Mudsdale, that's going to be the best option. But no, we just see what looks like it's going to be a double protect here. Oh, no double protect? Okay, well, Uxie should also be dead, and then even though you sacrifice Trevenant here, you've got a -1 defense, Mudsdale, where you have max available, but it is a 4v2 now. And this seems like it is a very, very solid position for Snoot here in Game 1. And Trevenant does restore a little bit of HP, but falls asleep. The guaranteed turn of sleep will be the last turn of max. I think it's pretty safe to leave the Trevenant in to eat up that last turn of max. Magnezone, with what he has in the back, doesn't seem like the best option here, although it is Air Balloon. Eat up the turn of max here, and I think Mystical Fire makes a lot of sense. Lower the special attack and break the Air Balloon, and then that will allow the Nidoqueen to come in and clean up that Magnezone. Just be wary of a potential ally switch off this Magnezone in the late game. But we'll see what Chaos Knight Rider locks into here. He's in a pretty rough position this game. Probably wasn't expecting the max Trevenant off the bat, but we are going to see his max come on out. It's likely this Magnezone in this board state, I would imagine. It could also be the Mudsdale, but at -1 defense, I'm not sure how much I trust it. Okay, it is going to be the Mudsdale. So we'll see exactly what this Mudsdale is able to do at -1 defense. It's not going to get a free setup here. And the Mystical Fire is just going to come on off, weaken the Magnezone, pop the Air Balloon. And I think that's about as well as you could have expected this turn to go. We do see the Flash Cannon come into the Trevenant. It's not going to be doing much. And the Quake's coming on out. So this is going to start boosting up special defense. That doesn't kill the Indeedee, though. He's able to just burn a turn of sleep pretty freely here. I still think this is a good position for Snoot, but we do see that the Mudsdale is faster than the Trevenant. So this is not going to be a min-speed Mudsdale, and this is also closer to a min-speed Trevenant, more than likely. It's an interesting speed interaction there. Trevenant's going to shrink. And now I think you can just keep stalling out max turns here. Woodhammer into Mudsdale looks like it would do a lot. This Indeedee is likely going to go down, but it might be able to get off another flat Sacred Fire into this Magnezone. It's at -1 now, so you might want to reset it, but Mystical Fire, not Sacred Fire. Could also follow me to redirect for the Trevenant if you think this Trevenant's going to be good in the late game, which I kind of like this play. If you can redirect 2 attacks into the Indeedee, because at -1, the Indeedee's at +1 special defense. This Magnezone shouldn't kill it here, but he just goes for the ally switch. He does reveal the ally switch. The Mudsdale goes for the Steel Spike. This should kill Indeedee from this range, I would imagine. Yes, and the Indeedee does go down. And Trevenant gets to burn a second turn of sleep, or maybe it'll wake up here and get a little bit off, but the Magnezone goes to +1 physical defense. The Trevenant wakes up and uses Woodhammer, but it will connect on the Magnezone instead of the Mudsdale, but that is still a substantial chunk of damage. This Trevenant's damage output is going to be a problem for this team to deal with, especially since he doesn't seem to have a great way of hitting it. And now we can have Weavile or Nidoqueen come on in here. I think I like the Weavile play because you can stall the last turn of Max before getting the Nidoqueen in. And then you're going to need to... Doubling up the Mudsdale slot makes sense because of a potential ally switch. Fake Out makes sense here too. But this Mudsdale will have the opportunity to get up to +2... or no, +1 physical defense before this goes on. So this Woodhammer will do a lot, but it's not going to kill. But the Weavile will also survive because it's Focus Sash and the Magnezone isn't attacking. So you will get one more turn out of this Weavile, which is going to be pretty nice. Defense goes up. We'll see how much a +2 Woodhammer does into a +1 Max Mudsdale. Oh, there is the Grass Resist Berry. That makes more sense on the Mudsdale than the Suicune. That's still a lot of damage, and outside of Max, even though it goes up to +2 with the stamina boost here, that should be enough to kill it without that Grass Resist Berry anymore. The self-damage, though, might have actually been the most damage that that this Trevenant could take on this board state. So I'm very interested to see how this... What is Chaos Knight Rider's out here, I wonder. Not knowing his sets, he definitely needs to get rid of this Trevenant because it's threatening the Mudsdale. I mean, Earthquake will get rid of the Magnezone, and then the Nidoqueen can clean it up if it's got Ice Beam. I do like that play. You might go for Ice Shard. No, not Ice Shard into the Mudsdale. That would just give it another boost because it's not going to do enough damage. Taunt into the Mudsdale slot. I guess that makes sense. Earthquake here makes a lot of sense, though. There can't be a Protect. Trying to catch the ally switch. Flash Cannon comes on out. Trevenant will survive. Is it a double up into the Trevenant? Will this kill the Trevenant? It does get the double KO. That is about as poorly as this turn could have gone for Snoot. Now Chaos Knight Rider looks to be in the driver's seat, depending on what this Nidoqueen is able to do. It does have the Earth Power and the Ice Beam, so it will... He'll need to call whether or not there's an ally switch here, and not getting one last turn, not taunting that Magnezone slot is going to cost him because he's got to call this turn. Does he think there's going to be an ally switch? because the Mudsail needs to go down here first. The Mudsail is absolutely the threat that needs to go down first. In his position, I call the ally switch. And I would have been wrong. He takes out the Mudsail, then... Oh no, he doesn't take out the Mudsail! It might be AV with the +1 special defense. That's going to be just enough, and that should lock it up for Chaos Knight Rider. Another incredibly close set in these semifinals. You know what? I don't even know if that's true. We'll see how much this Mudsail does here. Yeah, okay, that will lock it up. And what a close set. Or close game. And we're going to be moving into Game 2 with Chaos Knight Rider making an incredible comeback in Game 1 of this match. Alright, and we are looking at Game 2 with Chaos Knight Rider making an incredible 2v4 comeback with a Mudsail surviving at a fractional amount of HP. It was an incredible play. The lack of a taunt didn't hurt as much as I thought, but the lack of a damaging move coming out of that Weavile that turd was a lot. I think Ice Shard into the Mudsail might have actually been the right play there, but it's tough to say. Here we are seeing the Weavile next to the wider Blastoise. We know what this likely means. He's going to be going for that G-Max Blastoise. I assume it's a Shell Smash set. The Weakness Policy Trevenant was great Game 1, but without the surprise factor and being able to catch a Snarl on it, I don't think it's going to be as exceptional. But we'll see what goes on here. I think the Nidoqueen is the correct play, but I assume that that's AV Mudsail. This is going to be a very, very interesting Game 2, and Snoot will need to lock in pretty soon to not time out. He seems very split on his last couple Pokemon, but he's looking like it's going to go Nidoqueen and then Xurkitree. No, he's going to go Indeedee instead of Xurkitree. The Indeedee put in a lot of work last game, and if it got one more Mystical Fire off, that could have been different as well. There were so many marginal things that happened in that game. But here we go into game number 2. Will Chaos Knight Rider be able to punch his ticket into a rematch with Tay in the finals of the PDPL after their match in the finals of Season 2 Grand Finals for the UGA and in the semifinals of the UGA Season 3? Will he be? This is going to be a very, very interesting game, and we are going to see what looks like just a Shell Smash set. Oh, he also has Yawn, though. But what are you going to do about this Dragapult? Without the Indeedee lead, this Dragapult is going to be annoying to deal with, to say the least. And he might just max and go for a Cannonade into the Mienshao. Or a Darkness into the Pult. This is a tricky turn without the Indeedee lead. I really like the Blastoise Indeedee lead. I don't know exactly why he decided to lead the Weavile here, but this is very risky. Especially if this Pult just maxes. This could put Chaos Knight Rider in a good position moving into the mid-game here for Game 2. But we are first going to see the max come out of Snoot, so we will not actually be seeing that Dragapult max this turn. I'm not exactly sure what the play here is then, because this is going to do a substantial amount of damage and set the residual damage as well. Although we may have just seen a fake out into the Mienshao, which doesn't work. But it does do a lot of damage. Sucker Punch failed. Oh, it does work. This is not Inner Focus Mienshao. Regenerator? Reckless? I'm not sure. It's dead. We'll never find out. And now the Dragapult's going to take a substantial amount of damage there. Calling that that's not Inner Focus, I don't know how I feel about that, but it did work, I guess. That feels risky. But now the Magneton's going to come on out. It is absolutely going to threaten this Blastoise. But will it be able to kill the Blastoise? Is he just going to switch into the Nido? Switch into the Nido would be a tough call to make. But no, he's going to go for the Darkness into the Dragapult. And then he's gonna... This is a Max Magnezone play here. He could max guard and get the Indeedee in, I think, but as long as he survives one hit, which he probably should survive one attack, then this is fine. Psychic Surge is going to come on out, and then we'll see if this... I believe this Magnezone should max in this game. Psychic Seed will activate. And if Blastoise survives this turn, he's going to be in excellent position, but... I don't know. A Max Lightning just from a Magnezone, because we know it's White Herb and not the Electric Resist berry. This can hurt. This is really going to hurt. You see Dragon Darts coming out, which will put some decent chip on that Blastoise, and also chunk the Indeedee pretty well. Oh, that was a crit. After Follow Me... Oh, Dragapult's dead. Never mind. No, Dragapult's alive. Okay, so after Follow Me this next turn, Dragon Darts will hit Indeedee twice. That was a crit, so the Dragon Darts likely doesn't kill from that range, but if it did, it doesn't actually protect the Blastoise from the Magnezone. But he went for a Steel Spike, calling a switch, which goes into the Indeedee, and the Indeedee does go down, so that crit on the Dragon Darts actually likely did matter, because a +1 special defense Indeedee likely lives one Dragon Darts and a Steel Spike from a Magnezone a lot of the time. But Dragapult will go down to this, right, the residual damage. And then Magnezone will take a little bit from this residual damage as well, but I don't believe that pops the Air Balloon, so we need to find a way to pop that Air Balloon for this Nidoqueen to clean up the Magnezone. Mudsail's going to come on in. Mudsail's not going to like the Cannonade. Weavile could fake out the Mudsail, but it would go up to +1 defense, 314 HP. I guess Snoot thinks he survives this, so I trust him to know his calc here. And he's going to go for a Darkness into the Mudsail. Going to double lower this Magnezone special attack. And taunt it so it can't ally switch next turn. I don't know if I agree with this. I'd probably Cannonade the Mudsail here, but if you're calling that Protect, which it absolutely should Protect here, but now the Magnezone can't ally switch anymore. Darkness will lower its special defense, given that we think it's Assault Vest. That probably puts it in range to die. Wait, no, it's not Assault Vest. It just used Protect. That's just a really bulky Mudsail. I don't know my calcs at all. That's fine. I'm bad at the game. So -1 special defense should go down to an Ice Beam. Weavile goes to Sash, and yeah, Snoot should be locking this game up, I believe. And the Magnezone never attacked into Max Blastoise, which means that there will be one more turn of Max for this Magnezone. It will be able to pick up a KO, and the Mudsail can probably pick up a KO as well, but then Nidoqueen will be in position to 1v2 here, because Magnezone can't touch Nidoqueen most of the time. And we are going to see this Weavile actually put a decent chunk on this Magnezone as well, but it won't matter because this Nidoqueen is going to be the one that's going to be able to kill both of these. And the Air Balloon pops. This is perfect setup. The Blastoise goes before the Magnezone and connects with a Hydro Cannon. Down goes the Mudsail. And this will functionally wrap up game number 2 in Snoot's favor. And we will be going to a second game 3 on this semifinal weekend. Tuesday. This is going to go up on Tuesday. Semifinal Tuesday. So, out comes the Nidoqueen. And all we'll be seeing here is the Magnezone shrinking and then an Earth Power. So we'll have to see how both of these coaches adjust for a decisive Game 3 to decide whether it's going to be the #1 seed Snoot to continue his dominant season making it to the finals, or whether Chaos Knight Rider will have his shot at revenge against Tay. The Throat Chop comes on out. And then here is the Earth Power that will wrap it up. Game 2 goes to Snoot, but which way will Game 3 go? Stick around and I will be right back with Game number 3. It is Game 3 time! So, will Snoot pivot back into that max weakness policy Trevenant that seemed to have such good effect in Game 1, but the end game Chaos Knight Rider clawed it back? Or will he go with that Blastoise set that seemed out of position, but he was able to leverage the bulk of the Blastoise and the belief that it wouldn't die to the Magnezone, or that Chaos Knight Rider would keep calling Protect into Blastoise, and he was able to just get up so much damage with that Blastoise before finally going down that Nidoqueen was set up for a clean endgame. And for Chaos Knight Rider, what will he be doing on his side to adjust? Max Dragapult actually seems pretty good, and he's just going to go straight for the Blastoise and DD, which seems like the play into this team. Chaos Knight Rider doesn't seem to have a great matchup into this, except for that Magnezone, which is beaten really badly by the Nidoqueen. So this will be an interesting Game 3 matchup to determine our second finalist. But let's see how these coaches decided to go up against one another here. Chaos Knight Rider leads with the Suicune and the Dragapult. So, a lot of options here. Snarl makes a lot of sense. We do know that it is White Herb Dragapult. White Herb Blastoise. But a Snarl here might trigger it early, so it keeps its defenses dropped. Or it will keep it at +1 special attack instead of +2. He's considering just switching out the Blastoise. A Tailwind from the Suicune is actually an interesting play to consider here. Because if you Tailwind with Suicune, even after Shell Smash, you're going to have the speed advantage. And to counter that, he's actually just going to be going straight for a Yawn into this Dragapult slot and switch into the Weavile. I don't know if I agree with the Weavile switch half of this, but the Yawn makes a lot of sense. Alright, and he does just switch into the Weavile. This feels like Weavile's just going to have its Sash broken for free and then be threatened by the Dragapult, but I guess if this Yawn connects, it'll be overall solid for Snoot. But we do see Chaos Knight Rider going straight for that Dragapult max. And what is going to be the max option here for Snoot if he's not maxing this Blastoise? Because Indeedee lost its Psychic Seed boost already. This Weavile doesn't seem like it's a great max option, and Nidoqueen generally isn't a max option either. But it's just going to be a straight max darkness into the Weavile. I guess that switch worked out well enough. And then the White Herb will trigger for the Blastoise here, but given the set that the Blastoise is running with the Yawn, and it is the Snarl, Blastoise avoids the attack. Blastoise avoiding that attack could have been huge, but instead we are just going to see the Yawn come on out into the Dragapult. Now, Chaos Knight Rider is going to be put to the same test that he put Snoot to in Game 1. Is it worth it to try to preserve the sleep by sacrificing 2 turns of max, or would you rather get the damage out from your max turn? We do see Snoot thinking about switching this Blastoise out. Its White Herb has been consumed, but it is not at minus special attack yet. And actually, switching into something like the Indeedee here and saving a max for late game Blastoise makes a bit of sense to me. But I need to know what his plan is to deal with this Suicune, because the Suicune just looks like it can just sit here and snarl this entire team. Maybe the Weavile is going to do something to it this turn, but it doesn't seem like a great position to be in. And then Weavile is going to Throat Chop the Suicune. Yeah, it's not going to do a lot of damage. I don't know how he's dealing with Suicune effectively. Indeedee comes on in. And we do just see the Throat Chop come on out. And Max Phantasm into the Indeedee, and the Dragapult's going to fall asleep. What a great switch. But the Suicune is going to Calm Mind up in front of this almost entirely special team. We know Suicune is Citrus Berry, so it will likely take 3 more Throat Drops to kill it. And Suicune Snarl makes a lot of sense, but he's switching back into the Blastoise, and then he's going to taunt the Suicune. I think you need to start outputting damage on the Suicune. I think Expanding Force, even at -1 into a +1 Suicune, plus Throat Drop, if you're able to get 2 of those off, it's a clean kill, and switching out this Dragapult is not something that's happening, so the Suicune is what you need to deal with. Taunt comes out. But if I'm Chaos Knight Rider, I'm going for this Weavile somehow this turn. And that's maybe the only turn of sleep. He gets 1 turn of sleep, and then he wakes up next. And the Scald does come out into the Weavile. I think Snoop played that turn too passively. He needed that extra Throat Drop damage on the Suicune. Now it's just a +1 Suicune that can start attacking into everything, and indeed he's got to come back in. Maybe the play here is try to Shell Smash and then max Blastoise. That would make sense to me. Yep, he's going to go straight for the Shell Smash and the Expanding Force damage output. I like this play. He gets punished by a double target into the Blastoise if the Dragapult wakes up, or a big hit on this Dragon Darts if the Dragapult wakes up. So there are ways that this goes very, very poorly for him. But if he's able to get the Shell Smash up and then max the Blastoise next turn, that's his answer for Suicune. Maybe a Max Darkness, just clean into... No, because he knows the Snarl's coming out. This makes sense. And the Indeedee special attack goes down. This isn't going to do a lot, but this will go to a +1 Blastoise at +2 speed. Now you're going to be able to Max Darkness this Dragapult slot, lower the Suicune special defense, and you can start going from there. This will not be doing much. But the Dragapult is absolutely in range of this Blastoise, and I think a Max Darkness makes sense. I don't think you Max Darkness the Suicune, though. I think you have to Max Darkness the Dragapult here. I don't like that at all. I think you have to Max Darkness the Dragapult here. And then trust that you can output damage onto the Suicune if it goes back to neutral special defense. Oh no. I don't like this play at all. You're at -1 already. You're going to be taking so much damage from just a Snarl this turn, because you're going to -2 first before the Snarl hits. I guess this is the type of play you have to make if you want to try and make finals, but if this Dragon Darts kills here and you get a single target attack, oh, it won't kill without a crit. Okay, so this looks going to be a multi-target attack still, but that is so much damage from a Snarl onto that Blastoise. Oh, and it crit the Blastoise. The Max Darkness into the Dragapult would have stopped the Dragon Darts from coming out. Indeedee would still be alive. Suicune would be at neutral. I don't agree with that play, because now this Suicune is absolutely threatening to just kill the Nidoqueen here. If you Max Darkness the Blastoise and you're faster than the Suicune, the Blastoise is dead. I think you have to hope you're faster than the Suicune and Thunderbolt it here, because the Suicune doesn't have a great reason to be speed invested. So Max Darkness the Dragapult, Thunderbolt the Suicune, and at neutral, Thunderbolt at this range into Suicune could just take it down. I go for the Thunderbolt. He went for a really aggressive play, and now he's making a really passive play, and I think this might cost him the game, because there's just going to be so much residual onto this Blastoise. Maybe he's calling an ally switch out of the Dragapult? But Nidoqueen protects. Sucker Punch could just kill it. Oh, not quite. But a Snarl at this range is going to kill it, because you needed to go for the Thunderbolt. Oh no, I think Chaos Knight Rider is about to punch his ticket into the finals. What an amazing set from the Suicune. But I do think Snoot, and you went into the Nidoqueen. Okay, so never mind. Everyone is still in this game, and I'm bad at commentating because I thought that he was about to lock this game up with a Snarl KO. Magnezone comes on out. You Darkness the Magnezone, but it's got Sturdy. But Max Darkness plus Thunderbolt into Suicune. You Max Darkness, Thunderbolt... Ooh. Cannonade with the residual damage might kill this Magnezone. But you have to hope that this Thunderbolt kills the Suicune. No, you have to kill the Suicune. You can't double target the Magnezone here. You have to kill the Suicune. Right? Yeah, you have to kill the Suicune there. Especially if this Nidoqueen is faster than the... If the Nidoqueen is faster than the Suicune, Thunderbolt would kill at this range. The Suicune's faster. Doesn't kill the Blastoise. It doesn't even kill the Blastoise. Oh no. I don't even know what's happening in this set anymore. And we are in a very similar position, except now a Cannonade might be enough to just kill this Magnezone, and I think you can just Cannonade the Magnezone. But no, here actually I think you have to Darkness the Suicune, and then you Earth Power the Magnezone. Darkness the Suicune, Earth Power the Magnezone. Take your set. No. No. This is not the play. You Darkness the Suicune, because at +2 while the Suicune's at -1, that's enough to kill it. Yeah, it's fine if you Earth Power the Mudsdale. But now this Suicune's going to be able to... get up. I don't even know what's happening, but I'm pretty sure that this Suicune is going to be able to take out the Blastoise, take the Nidoqueen down to -2, and then just a Scald's going to kill, because I really think the Cannonade, I think the play had to be Darkness the Suicune and Earth Power. Yeah, that's not going to do it. And I think now Chaos Knight Rider punches his ticket. The way Snoot played this endgame was very confusing, but that last turn, I think, he had the out of Earth Power into the Mudsdale slot, which was the Magnezone, and Cannonade into the Suicune slot, or Darkness into the Suicune slot, because at +2 at a -1 Suicune, I think that probably kills, and then even if Magnezone stays in, it'll be at -2 special defense. So yeah, this is just going to wrap it up for Chaos Knight Rider, and he's punched his ticket to the finals. What an amazing set, and what a weird endgame. But congratulations to Chaos Knight Rider, and congratulations to Tay. You are the first 2 finalists in the Pokemon Draft Premier League. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time after that kind of an amazing set. I just can't wait to see what we have in the finals. Bye.